Hey everyone, I'm Joe Holmes and I'm joined by the incredible Hunter Blair Ambrose, and she's given me an exclusive sneak peek of her latest single, Alone Together. She calls it the best song of her career and I can't wait to hear it, but I've decided to hear it live on camera. So good. Yes! You didn't lie when you said it's an amazing song and your best song. You didn't lie. That is the truth. Love it. It's so good.
Thank you. That means a lot.
I just don't get how you keep getting better and better, because songs were so good anyway.
We did it strategically. I really picked the single rollout strategically so that they would build momentum and keep getting more and more exciting for the audience to hear. And I definitely think that too much was really, because this was the thing. We were in between putting out this one and Too Much first, and I was like, you know what, like Alone Together has such a distinct disco throwback sound. I feel like Too Much is a good way to build up to that, and It's a good transition single to this, which is a really it's a departure from my other songs. I think
it's so much more experimental, but in that way you go even further into your own lane, and you know, those robotic vocals and the whole beat throughout the track, it really carries and it really becomes its own thing, and it's that fresh new sound and the new production ideas and the new songwriting ideas, which I think what makes it really fresh and really engaging to the listener. So I think you're right when you've built up that constant journey of the singles, where it started off very, very mainstream and very safe, and I feel like you're stepping out of your comfort zone each time. Would you agree?
I do agree. This song captures a really specific time in pop music too, because I was so taken aback by albums like Future Nostalgia and After Hours, which both really played heavy on that late 70s disco and also late 80s synth pop thing. And I think this song is a great example of a marriage between those two sounds too. But, we wanted to make it modern and we wanted to make it make sense. I really hope people remember this song when they think of me. And I hope people agree that it's a standout of my career, because I certainly think so.
Yeah, and I feel like you're 100% right to do that. And I love the way that you're celebrating your art and the art that you're proud of. Does that come naturally to you, or do you have to remind yourself, look, this is me. I'm really good at what I do. I love this song.
I always believed in this song. Do I have to remind myself of my own ability and, give myself a boost of confidence every once in a while? Yeah, of course. I don't wake up every single day feeling on top of the world. I don't think anyone does. But when I listen to this song, it really reminds me that I've worked really hard. I work really hard presently, and I will continue to try to do songs that make people feel the way that I hope this song makes them feel.
I really love that. And I feel like it's great that you have those reminders, those things you go to whenever you feel low. You can put this song on yourself and just jam to it, because you're proud of it. And going back to the comment of when After Hours came out and when Future Nostalgia came back, and I really picked up on this listening to the song when you played it, because I've heard some of the demos of Future Nostalgia, some of the B-sides that didn't come out, and I feel like it's really reflective of some of the more experimental and I think braver and better choices that Dua Lipa's producers and writers did on the B-sides that didn't translate to Future Nostalgia. But I think Alone Together captures some of those choices that didn't make the cut. But I think they were wrong to not make the cut. I think those brave choices are really good. When you were producing the song, when were you writing this song, when did those robotic vocals and sort of the more experimental productions and songwriting come into play?
They happened on the spot while we were producing it, and it was my idea when we were in the studio producing the song. We got to the chorus, and the chorus is what I wrote first. And when we got through that and tracked everything for that, I remember looking at my producer and I said, I want to do some kind of post-chorus rap vocoder thing. And I went into the booth and we cut a demo vocal first. And I went into the booth and I did it. And those robotic vocals are me.
I wasn't convinced they were you. Listen to them. I thought, who have you got to do those? I mean, to be honest, I couldn't tell it was you. And I thought that.
Yeah, that's me. It's kind of funny to listen to it because, and that's, I've played the song for close friends of mine, and my old manager heard it, and people on my team have obviously heard it because they've been in there while I've been recording it. But everyone's like, who's doing that? And I'm like, I am. It was a great addition to the song, and I think I played it for family, and every time someone's heard it for the first time, when it gets to that part, everyone's like their ears perk up and they're like, whoa, what is that? And I've always loved Daft Punk, and I've always loved the stuff that they've done with The Weeknd, and I've just always really loved vocoders in general. It's a fun little addition to a song, and if the production calls for it, then I think that it adds a really interesting flair to vocals.
Would you say that having those little sound bites that make people's ears perk up that aren't sometimes safe choices, do you prefer to make unsafe choices than safe choices in your songwriting?
Well, I mean, it's pop music, so it's a mixture of both, right?
Yeah, and I feel like that balance is what makes a perfect pop song. So in that way, Alone Together.
Oh,
Pop song.
that's so nice. That's so nice. Thank you.
So tell me about the ring you're wearing today.
This ring was made for me by Angel Pie, and she runs Illumin Designs, and it's a jewelry company, couturier out of New York City. And I actually met her through, let me zoom in on this really quick so you can see how insane this is.
Pretty. That's so pretty.
Thank you. And I told her that I was, doing this album and doing this song and this music video. And I was like, I think aesthetically, these big crystallized pieces could go well because I'm doing this disco pop song and there's a lot of like crystal accents in the video and lots of silvers and lots of, disco-esque things going on. And obviously like the album's called Scorpio Season. So like, the crystal thing kind of plays into the astrology thing. And I was like, you know what, let's do it. And you will see her designs pop up more and more promo photo shoots of mine and future music videos. And she does huge like body pieces and body jewelry and necklaces, all kinds of crazy stuff. So this is a fun little precursor to some exciting fashion choices for the era.
That's so cool. And working with lots of different artists must be really fun. What's your favorite part of discovering new artists and working with them? As
I've met different creatives who have contributed different things to the album and the visuals, I've met other people through each new person that I meet 5 more, and then you never know where that leads you. Like I was having lunch with a friend of mine in New York, and she introduced me to a videographer who will be directing and editing my next video after this, who introduced me to Angel, who designed the jewelry pieces for me, and then that producer introduced me to, some people over at, some record labels that were pitching the album to, and some actors who are going to be in my next video. It's just, it all kind of feeds into each other. And, that's what's exciting about this industry is that, once you find your rhythm, you never know who you're going to meet and who will lead you to the next person.
No, I really get that. And with Alone Together, when you were building the visual world for it, going from the album cover, which you haven't shown me and I can't wait to see, but you've told me how good it is. And then I know the video is going to be just as good. And the photo shoots you put out promoting it already are so good. And I know that the visuals are so strong. So tell me how you built the visual world for Alone Together after knowing it's such an important track for you.
It's a good question. Without giving too much away, I can tell you that the song itself, I wrote this during a very, very dark period in my life. And we shot the video mainly in this very dark space, literally. The majority, we filmed in a few different studios and on a few different sets, but the majority of the video takes place in this very black soundstage. And, whether someone wants to interpret that as, symbolizing depression or the pandemic, it's all of it. It's all of it in one. And when I wrote the song, I remember thinking to myself, I was like, okay, let me think about, because I'd just written it, but as I write a song, everything kind of goes hand in hand. So I was like, how would I want to do a video for this? How would I want to shoot a single cover for this? And I was like, okay, well, in order to answer those questions, I have to think to myself, what does Alone Together mean? Right?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Because it means a lot of different things, right? And the song was written about not just the pandemic, not just my, broken old relationship, which had ended for good very, very shortly before lockdown. So it's not just about heartbreak. It's not just about being alone. It's not just about the pandemic. It's about all of it at once. It's about, and also, I thought that it was a smart title because we all felt a lot of those things all around the world.
Those things together. So we're all getting alone. We're all going through all of these different things all together, all at once. And, sort of built Alone Together. And you talked about thinking about the meaning the whole time. And I feel like lots of people overlook this, but meaning's so important. whether you're thinking about what you want to do as an artist or what you want a project to represent and to be about and what you want the effect to be. So have you always thought of the meaning behind things as you've created them?
Yeah, definitely. And every artist is different, and like there's nothing like some fun bubblegum pop.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. Not everything has to have like a super cerebral multi-interpretation meaning to it. I'm not saying that. But when it came to this album, and maybe this has become clear as the singles have come out one by one, but I go into some pretty heavy topics on this record.
And so when you talked about finding the meaning behind those songs, do you think that looking for meaning and looking for newer meanings help you navigate those darker themes that you had to explore in your work?
Yes, because in order for me to really effectively write a song, I really have to go deep, deep, deep into certain experiences in order to write music about it, because you have to have a pretty good understanding and ability to process certain things that you're writing about to put out music about it. Yeah. I had to, and in this sense, I never imagined that I would have put this album out during a pandemic. I've been creating this record and conceptualizing this record since 2017. However, I think that, obviously we can't predict the way that our lives unfold. We can't predict a global pandemic that's gone on for over a year. But I do think that, the painful things that I went through last year, and double that with like the forced isolation of COVID, I really did have to, and I think a lot of people had to do this. I really had to look at myself in the mirror and be like, okay, I'm 25 at the time. Where's my life going? What have I done? Am I proud of the decisions I've made? Am I not proud of the decisions I've made? Am I happy with who I am as an artist? No. And at the time I was like, no, I have to make a whole record. And I was actually having a lot of writer's block at the time. And I was like, how the fuck am I going to write an entire record in the middle of this crazy world event? How am I going to do this? But we did it.
So when you went through that experience, and when we were all alone together, and you were forced to reevaluate yourself and where you stood in the world, and now it's brought such a good change. Is reevaluating yourself something you're going to try and do more often now?
Yeah, I think so. I think COVID has taught all of us a lot.
Yeah.
And it was a forced period of self-reflection that I think a lot of us needed. I definitely needed it. And I'm very proud of not only me, but I'm proud of a lot of people around the world that managed to get themselves through that time. And for me, it was music that got me through that time. And I hope that people can put on this song and kind of lose themselves in, it's kind of a fantastical sounding song. There's a lot of elements to it that kind of take you to a different place. And that's my favorite. That is my favorite kind of pop music, that it just completely takes you to another world. And I hope that when people hear this song, that's what it does for them, because that's what it did for me. And I've been listening to it for a year now. It's gone through probably about 20 different mixes to get it right.
And that just shows how passionate you are about getting it right. Because, it's so easy to be like, right, this is such a good song, hear everyone listen to it. But you sat through 20 different mixes knowing that you had to get it right.
Yeah. If some people on my team ever see this interview, they're going to be like, there were like 20 different mixes of it. But it sounds amazing.
Yeah. And how different does the final mix sound to the early mixes?
Very. I think, obviously, my demo vocal for it was this is actually a really interesting anecdote about the making of the song that I can share. I landed in LA in September of 2020. And I got off the plane and I was there for like 3 weeks to record and produce the preliminary sessions of the album. I land in LA from New York. I get off the plane. I drop my stuff at my hotel. I go straight to my producer's house. We do this song because it was the first one I had completely written. The form was done. All the lyrics were done, everything. So we do the song. I was so tired and I cut a demo vocal and I sounded terrible. Honestly, I sounded terrible for me. I was so tired, but I got it out. So I fly back to New York about 3 weeks later to start recording the album. This is like October, November of last year. And I remember looking at my audio engineer and I said to him, we're doing this song today. It's called Alone Together. It's a huge song. It's very vocally demanding. I want you to push me because I cannot hold back on this song. I cannot hold back. I have to belt it out there. I have to really deliver like a powerful vocal performance for this. And I need you, you know, if you feel like I'm holding back, I need you to hold me accountable and I need you to tell me. And it happened. And I really let go making this song. I will say, I don't know if this is something that you picked up on, but I love this song for my fans to hear, and I love it. I love the fact that people can find this song in my discography now, because I think up until this point, I haven't really sung in this kind of register a lot on my songs before. It's a very vocally demanding song. And this is really like what my natural voice sounds like.
Yeah.
And I think before, you know, obviously I'm not going to like belt crazy on a song if the song doesn't demand it, but I do think that I do use a slight pop affectation on my voice for certain songs if they're super poppy and like I can kind of use my voice in a lighter way. This song, this is my voice. Right? And I hope that people pick up on the fact that, oh shit, she hasn't really sung like that really before on record.
Yeah. And I feel like, and I was just thinking, because, you know, I'm going to have to play this a few more times to really give the attention to detail. But when, you know, your voice kicked in, I did notice a difference, and I wasn't, you know, I hadn't picked up on it yet. But now you've said that, yeah, for sure, you can definitely tell that you've gone all out and the audio engineer has pushed you. And so when you took that step to ask him to push you, do you feel like it's important to sometimes to have those people there to hold you accountable and make sure you're pushed to your very best?
Yeah, I do. I wouldn't be where I'm at without my vocal engineer and my producers, and really I owe them a lot for my growth as an artist, for my growth as a songwriter. We all work really well together, and it's been nothing but a pleasure to grow as an artist with them, helping me through the last few years. It makes me really emotional, actually, because I remember, you know, when my only thing that I was really confident in to produce was my song Right Now. I mean, what a tremendous growth since then. I hope that people can see that.
Yeah, no, 100%. And sorry if I zoned out there. I just got the lyrics up on my screen, and we've got to talk about them because it's great. And I just keep looking. I keep glancing over to the lyrics, and I'm smiling because it's like I don't know. I look at these lyrics and I think, oh my God, she's being all the way honest.
Oh yeah, there's some.
It's like when you're writing a song, and like you know shit's real when you write a song and you talk about writing a song in the song, because like you're that you need to write that song. Yeah, I'm writing a song about it, and I'm writing a song about it. Oh my God, I fucked up again. I wrote this song about her man. Like, started the song like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I you know, I wish that I had a different perspective on it, and I was like, I was removed from the situation. Like, I wish I wasn't the writer so that I could have the experience of hearing it for the first time and being like, whoa, okay. There's some tea in this song, which there is.
I tried to go on my own. It never works. They're the lyrics that hit me the most and I felt the most. Talk me through those lyrics.
Yeah, for a long time when I think a lot of people have been through a relationship that hasn't worked out where you're like, I really thought this person was the one. And, you know, at a certain point in my life, I was very young. It was like my first serious whatever.
I feel you. I feel you.
I just really felt like my life was over when that ended, right?
Yeah.
I don't feel that way anymore, thank God. But
and it's everything you look forward to at that time. You're constantly looking forward to what that future looks like, and so when it ends, you know, that it's like the future goes.
Yeah, totally. And I think that line refers to, I tried to like meet tons of other people, and I tried to find this person in other relationship prospects, and I tried to find qualities in that person and other men, and it never worked. It never was what I wanted it to be because I put too much unrealistic expectation. I just wanted to find another version of the same person. And that's impossible. And that's what that line means. And also, like, I try to go on my own and it never works. Like, I also just tried being single for a long time and thinking that I was fine being alone. And I woke up one day and I was like, you know what? No, like, I am a relationship type of person, and I do like being with somebody, and I don't need to pretend like I love being single all the time. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's lonely, and especially during a pandemic, I was like, you know what? I'm actually not feeling good at all.
No, and that kind of sucked because it just felt so limiting. You're like, well, maybe this situation was part of my healing journey in some another reality, but now I'm like stuck in this for however long this lasts for, and that's hellish. And then it's out of your control as well. And I feel that that's healthy to not lie to yourself and to not say, yeah, well, I love being single, because one day, you know, you can't just keep waiting and waiting and waiting. If you're ready, just go for it.
Yeah, totally. And it took me a while to work through all my emotions from the past and be okay to like really move on. But you know, at the time I wrote this song, I was like, how am I going to meet somebody? How am I going to move on from any of this? I'm going to sit in my house and think about it, because what else am I going to do? You know what I mean? Like I couldn't, I had just moved to, you know, the city that I lived in before. If this kind of gives you like an idea of just how devastating that time was. I left New York a couple weeks before lockdown to try to work on that situation. So I up and left. I moved to a different city. I get into my new apartment and the world shuts down, which means I wasn't able to work on my personal life. I didn't know, we all didn't know what the hell was going on. I didn't know when I could see my friends. I had just moved into a new place. I was alone. I had an EP coming out that I couldn't promote or perform or talk. It was the craziest time probably of my adult life.
Yeah. And so the title of the song, Alone Together, when was that the title, and what does that title mean to you?
What does Alone Together mean to me? I think I have, and I was talking about this with the director of the video, I think Alone Together has 3 different meanings. One, and I think that they are all different. I think they all refer to different versions of isolation that hopefully we all can relate to. So one of those is kind of plays on the idea of modern relationships, because for a while, not even just because of the pandemic, but because of geographical limitations, I could only talk to my ex through the phone. So whenever we would talk, I would feel like there was this sense of, and I would usually be like alone at home just talking to him, but I was like, I'm by myself physically, but I'm with you in a way because I'm talking to you, even though it's virtual. And through that, I was like, oh, well, that's another thing that we all can relate to with the virtual component and technology, because we're all stuck in our homes and our only way out into the world is through our screens. So I was like, and we're all online at the same time working through this crazy world event. So I was like, okay, through the lens of the pandemic, we're all alone together because we're all going through this insane world event at the same time. And then, the universal theme of pain and heartbreak. We've all been through that. We all know what that feels like. So it's kind of me reaching out to other people that have been hurt and have been through heartbreak too, and being like, hey, like, I understand.
Yeah.
I'm alone too.
Yeah. And we might be alone when we hear the song, but we're together in that collective feeling that we experience when we listen to the song.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, to summarize, it's like it was kind of how I would feel whenever I would speak to this former person in my life. I was like, I'm alone together with you in this moment because we get to talk about the past, just him and I. Alone together refers to the whole world going through the lockdown at the same time, being isolated in our homes. And it's me reaching out to people who have also been heartbroken and lonely and saying, I've been there too, and I understand.
Yeah.
I would just like to say it's been a pleasure talking through the song with you. And it is a very, it's a moment of growth for me that I think people will be able to pick up on. And I think it's a career highlight. And also, I'm just very excited for everyone to hear it. It comes out this Friday, September 3rd, on all streaming platforms. And the single is called Alone Together, and I'm incredibly proud of it. I hope people dance to it, cry to it, just really take in the lyrics, really take in the production, allow the song to immerse them in a listening experience, and have, the same emotional reaction that I had when I first heard it done. Because I remember laying back and getting the final version of this song, and it just took me to a different world. And to me, I think some of the best pop music does just that. So I really hope you all enjoy it. This came from a very deep place in my heart, and I'm extremely proud of it, and I hope you love it.
You're Hunter Blair Ambrose. The song is Alone Together. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.